Everyone, welcome back to another Block Bro video, and today is the very first time we get to see a new chapter on this channel. Today marks the birth of the best chapter of all time. Not really. But it'll be pretty high up there. Chapter 8, Season 1. As you can see, there are quite a few biomes on this map, and this is a map that is very diverse, and there's a reason for that. This island is based on more of a West Coast feel on the right side, and more of a Central and South America feel everywhere else. Um, with that said, you'll see a few different architectural styles around. You'll see shanty towns and like the swamp and wetland, which the wetland is the best biome on this map. By far, it is really pretty. And there, I should also leave a little disclaimer before we get into this. I'm not going to go over every small aspect of this island just because I already have a video going over that, and I also don't want to just recreate the video just with, I guess, me talking in the background. So, without further ado, let's go over the tropics biome. This biome is very nice. Actually, I have a no, never mind. The tropics biome. This is the biome within a tropical region. It is also a volcano island. I must clarify, I have not had a volcano on a map since, or like lava on a map since Chapter 6, Season 7. So yeah. With that being said, if you watch the event, you will understand what this is. Null, goodbye, friend. Whoa, it's kind of laggy for some reason when I'm looking down in that water. I won't go into the story all that much currently, maybe later though. And as we go up the path, we will soon reach something known as the Team of 5 base. As you can see, there's 5 chairs to show the Team of 5. It's kind of like a unique Greek style building, even though there's not really a reason for Greece or anything. But you know, I also won't go over the story too much just because I literally have made a storyline explanation video. It's either being posted or is already posted by the time this is out, but who knows. And without further ado, we come across a small Stonehenge area. This is a landmark just called Stonehenge. Yeah, very unique. And that leads us over to our next landmark. A violent volcano. And the reason it's called violent volcano is because there is a stream of lava coming out from the right-hand side of the volcano. Right over here. Now, I don't really know where it comes from. Quite honestly, it kind of just like appears out of nowhere. But it's okay, because it leads down into this small area with another little big rock structure, and down into a lake. And that leads us to our first POI of the island, Vibrant Vista. Now, Vibrant Vista is just a small town run by a golden diamond logo. Now, what could the golden diamond logo be? Now, we'll learn the name of the group much later. But each of these houses are fully furnished. Now, I did not go over these buildings in the tour video, but they are very simple, and yeah, I don't really want to go over them, so I apologize. Anyway, continuing along, we kind of have this Spanish style with the area, which is very clear. Also a little bit of Mediterranean with that building and this building, but this is definitely a Spanish, like, vineyard. Yeah. And I suppose that is pretty much the entirety of the tropics biome. Now, you'll also see in the savanna biome, which will be coming up next, there seems to be an island in the shape of a star. There are 4 islands around this map that are in the shapes of specific objects. And without further ado, let's head on over to the savanna. Our very first POI of the area is going to be a Mexican manor style POI. This is called Eldon Estate. Now, Eldon Estate is actually the main headquarters for the leader group of the story, the Team of Five. They are currently situated here. And we also have a big overview of the map. This map is 2048 by 2048 blocks long in both sides. And it's also kind of squared around the corners, except for over here. Like, it really changes over here. Yeah. But you will also realize there seems to be a lot more green on this map than any, like, gray or white. And that's because there is hardly any snow on the map. The only areas with snow is up here, right here, and over here. And this is a very large mountain. Anyway, let's just kind of go over this POI. This POI has a few bookshelf areas over here. What? You just have this small little chair back here. And going around the back, we have a small little, area back here. This is like a, I don't know, like a, how would you say, it's just a backyard? Yeah, that's what it was, or is. I don't know why I'm grabbing all that on accident. And it just kind of heads over to here. Also, you have this big, like, window area. And then walking straight back into the house, because that doesn't really matter, we have the dining room. We have a table right there and a big table right here, a fireplace, and a small little kitchen. And the only way up is flying or teleportation. Let's go over the desks. Now, these desks are run by the different members. The leader of the group, Nexus, and the main character works right here and is just chilling. He has a little chair right here, a little sofa and stuff. He likes sitting and looking out the windows and stuff. Probably with his best friend, Scarlet. You know, I won't go into that all too much. Johnson over here, one of my favorite characters. He's gonna have a lot of character development because I'm bringing home. I don't know what that. I'm bringing home like some new things I'm gonna do for the story called little or actually I don't even know if they have a name, but they're gonna be like miniature trailers after each season arrives, and there's gonna be one per season, and it's gonna kind of develop the characters even further. And then over here, oh, wait, I didn't even go over this one. This one is Singularity. She has a bit of, like, plants around and stuff, because she likes plants. That's also Nexus's mom. Scarlet has a lot of infatuation with a lot of, like, Japanese and more Asian style stuff. And even though that's not, like, you know, even though this place doesn't even take place on Earth, somehow, some way, they will know. And then we have Giovanni, and Giovanni has a round table. He's the war commander. I should actually clarify which one of these are. Nexus is the leader. Johnson is the tactician, kind of, yeah, he's the tactician, kind of like scouts out areas. Singularity is the scientist. Scarlet is the co-leader, just kind of like follows behind Nexus with what he does. And then over here, with Giovanni, he's the war tactician, and also battlefield commander. And then we just have the bedrooms of the characters. Nexus is right here, and we're gonna take a quick little nap. Very simple. Continuing on. Behind him is Singularity's room. Yeah, kind of a vanity area over here. Maybe a prop-up mirror that isn't shown. We then have Scarlet's room, which has some really nice, like, colorful stuff. Definitely a vanity right here. And then we have Johnson and Giovanni's room. They are in the same room. And yeah, very, very cool. Very cool. And without further ado, let's move on to the next POI. And the next POI is going to be Honey Heights. Oh, wait, actually, no. We're not going to go over that yet. Over here, we kind of have, like, this little chill-out area. You'll see a lot of these around, and these are bases, or just, like, relaxing areas for the Team of Five, where they can kind of, like, walk around and kind of admire what Nexus created. Because the story is that Nexus created this new reality. And it is reality next, but kind of weird because he created it. And then we have just a small little area back here. And then a main boat. And without further ado, now let's move on to Honey Heights right over there. Heights is a very simple POI. It is a honey farm, or a bee farm, or whatever the heck you want to call it. Still, they mean the same thing. And you'll see that as you kind of enter. You have all these, like, miniature, like, beehive areas. And around each, what are these called? What are those trees called? Uh, uh, I should not dwell on it for too long, but I'm very intrigued because I've seemingly forgotten what it is. Big trees in the savanna. But they have like miniature beehives up there, and over here we have a small little like area with a termite hill, and the leaves are termites because yeah. Um, and we have like some simple like honey farm things. We have some wheelbarrows. And next we have a greenhouse. Now the greenhouse is very beautiful. Let me just set it to a specific time in the day. Very nice this time of day. And hold on. Is it day? No, it's definitely noon, right? Yeah, noon's also nice. And you got this nice fountain and a very simple banana tree farm. And over here, we just have the facility, we have a barn, and we kind of have this nice little grove over here, and we just have some more, like, places. And that's the house, so, yeah. Um, we have this little, like, area over here. These are just kind of, like, some pillars of rock out in the, near the ocean. And you'll also realize that there's a lot of these rock, skerries kind of around the place. So, yeah. And I suppose that leads us over to our next POI, and you may recognize this. I began working on this island approximately 7 months ago. Yeah, that it's a long time. It's a long time coming. And I ended it about 2 months ago. So yeah, 5 months of work on this. And within that time frame, there was a specific movie that came out that has to do with Minecraft. And I decided I would make Midport Midlands, or Midport Village from the movie. And that is very obvious because of the lava chicken hut and Steve's armory thing, or whatever. And then you just have a normal village house, another normal village house, a lot of stuff. You have the tower on the back, the llama statue, I don't even know what it is, and the little cherry tree. And then you have this area where, Steve and the other person, I forgot all about that movie, do the forbidden act of a man sandwich. Anyway, now we should head over to our next POI, Fizzy Frontier. Anyway, here we are with our lovely Fizzy Frontier. Fizzy Frontier is a Wild Western style town. Yeah, that's what it is. Not really much to go off of. It's just kind of like normal cul-de-sac, kind of like roads and stuff. Um, a few graveyards here and there. We have like a delta right next to it. If you don't know what a delta is, it's just like the ending to a river, and you know you see them a lot in tropical regions. And of course, this island is based off of a tropical region. And then we have this small chunk of the jungle biome. And actually it'd be part of the floodplain subcategory of the jungle biome. And then you have this small pond and a river connecting it. And also that connects to the big river over there, which connects to the largest river over there. Anyway, we should go over the next biome. And this, of course, is the desert biome. Yeah, and then our next POI, Barren Bistro. It's like, so, for clarification, when I did the tour for the Chapter 1 location, or for the Chapter 1 map toward Tan Kingdom, I brought up something called the City of Barren, and this is very directly inspired off of that town. Barren Bistro has a bistro, and the bistro is right here. And there's really not much else to go off for this POI, a small little oasis, and it's really simple. Anyway, let's move on to our next POI, Ancient Altar. Now, Ancient Altar is a facility run by the Team of 5 and the Paradigms, and they are both very, very focused on this specific area in general because Nexus did not create these ruins when he was rebuilding rebuilding the reality. And of course, I should make this known. This chapter, the season 1 starts literally 5 to 6 months after chapter 7 ends. So there's a long time jump, which makes sense as to how this was constructed. And also, there's a message hidden within this place. Now, you know, you could probably find it real easily, but I'm not going to say just in case you can't find it. And that's all I'm going to go off of right now, because there has been a lot of foreshadowing for what was seen there. Anyway, we have this small little, like, ruined Wild West area. Yep. That's about it. Also, you'll see the West Coast with the Wild West themed areas, and there's only 2 of them. That was the last one. And without further ado, we're not going to go over there yet. We're going to go over the Golden Pyramid. Now, this is another landmark, and it's very simple. It's the Golden Pyramid. It's with a golden top. It's literally just the Pyramid of Giza. I should make that known. And you also may have noticed this. You'll see a bunch of these sort of random builds around, but if you know about something known as Lego Minecraft, you would maybe be able to recognize this. Anyway, let's go over to our next POI, Diner Depot. Diner Depot is a wondrous POI. It is totally not inspired off of the Fortnite location, Dusty Depot, which is sort of embarrassing that I'm taking inspiration from Fortnite POIs. But it's okay, because they actually kind of cook sometimes. Anyway, we have the blue one right here, and this is like the diner area, or not the diner, like the cooking area. I think in one of these corners there's just, oh wait, no, never mind, I'm stupid. You got some ketchup, relish, and mustard. And then across here we have the main diner, and as you can see, you kind of, like, I don't know, you can like get into the image of, like, this is not a luxurious restaurant. It's probably serving like malnourished wait, that's not the right word for it. Disgusting burgers and stuff like that. Malnourished was not the right word. That's the complete opposite of burger. But I don't know, you'd be able to hit a hoedown in this joint. I don't know. There's a lot of visual storytelling that you'll see within these areas. Anyway, there's 2 more Lego Minecraft sets over here. Little tent. This is, I'm not actually going to say the names of these, but this is an older one over here. It's a very, very nice one. I did enjoy building this when I have it, technically. And then there's another Oasis. And let's just hop over the Golden Pyramid to my favorite POI, or my favorite POI in the desert biome, and believe it or not, my second favorite POI in Chapter 8. Actually, that might be a lie. We'll figure it out as we go. We have Sandy Suburbs, and this POI is inspired off of Las Vegas. There's not a casino, but, like, the way it looks is very similar to how, like, city roads in Las Vegas look. It's particularly in the downtown areas or in the suburbs, hence Sandy Suburbs. We have Hotel del Corazon, or Hotel of the Heart. And it's just a hotel. I showed this in the detailed map review, and you will realize there's an insane amount of detail that went into every single location on this map. Like, I tried my best to hit the nitty-gritty. We also have a little bowling alley, and we have See and Go Gas. See and Go Gas is something that has been around since Chapter 7, Season 6, but has now just officially been fully introduced. We have some construction there, and construction over here, kind of hinting at, like, I don't know, maybe this town is more recently built. Also a warehouse. You have some, like, possible plots of land there. yeah, and then you have a few palm trees over here. And I suppose that would be it for the desert biome. Let's hop up to the mesa. Yeah, let's just start over here. This area in particular is one of the most beautiful hangout spots for the team of 5. It's atop one of the highest mesa plateaus, and it has a hot spring. Yeah. You have a little picnic table, some chocolate pie, some jam, and a little like bistro table. Yeah. Very simple. The hot spring, I also use terracotta and the shaders, the vibrant visuals make it look like an actual hot spring, which is my favorite part about it. Which, yep, very, very cool. And that leads us over to the other side of the mesa biome. We have Parch Pueblo. Now, Parch Pueblo, this is a POI I didn't really go over in depth in my detailed review of the world, which I guess wouldn't really make sense, but you know. But there's a reason for that. There's not a lot to go off of. Really, this is the only like hotel in the POI, and honestly, if you would want to go here for a family vacation, there is something mentally incorrect in your head, and I mean that in a respectful way, but it's wrong. And then we have a house full of chairs. I had the idea, and I thought it was funny because I don't really know. But yeah, we have a small little area over here. It's the Pueblo is kind of split into 3 different like areas. You have the kind of like the villa area in this chunk. We have the taller buildings in this chunk, and then you have like just the right side. And of course, it's Mexican inspiration. I should have clarified that beforehand. But anyway, now we can move on. Ooh, also, I should mention, at the top of the mesa, it does end up getting snowy, because this is the point. I do believe this Y level is the Y level where snow appears on the mountains over in the actual mountain biome, so very cool. Not the big mountain, though. The big mountain has snow below that. And down here, we have Jumble Junkyard. This is my very first Junkyard POI. Also, this map has 52 POIs on it, I think. I'm pretty sure. I'll have to check again. It might be 48. But it's very simple. You have some crushed cars and some gross trash bags and stuff and all that. But what if I told you there was another layer to this POI? There's an entire mine shaft below, and this mine shaft has a little waterfall, which leads out into this little river area. It's a cool river outlet. It's nice. Or inlet, sorry. Wait, no. The location where the waterfall ends. And, you know, up here, we have a bunch of fun arches holding up the mine shaft, and we have this nice little, like, island area. Also, it kind of looks like it connected there at some point. Maybe Nexus wanted to do some visual storytelling. So, yeah. And then on the other side of the mesa, we go from a dry region over to the Grove biome. Now, the Grove biome originally was not going to be full of pink trees. Originally, it was going to be a biome full of large mountains, and it was going to be very similar to the northern chunk of the Andes Mountains. I decided to change my mind on that. So let's go over the first POI here. Gassy Grove. This is a see-and-go gas station, and it's a POI. And it is the weakest POI of them all. I could have just made this a landmark, but I didn't. It was a mistake on my behalf. I apologize. And we just have a big parliament building over here, like the capital region of the island is the Grove biome. Also, I think, is the Grove biome the largest biome? No, I think the wetland is the largest biome. And for good reason. I'm hyping up the wetland for a very good reason. And without further ado, let's go over to the next POI. This was the very first POI I did on this map. Sunshine Spa. Yeah, it's very nice. We have a detour entrance with a few different paths that kind of go around and stuff. It's kind of cute, I guess. Like, I don't know. It's, of course, modern in architectural design. You have all the flat roofs, the white and gray colors, very monotone. But, you know, there's also a lot of color. Like, sure, it may be white and gray and brown, but there's also a bunch of flowers around. And then we have an outdoor-indoor spa thing, which doesn't really... And then you have a little bay here. I made the bay because it was a unique look. And also, I never realized it either looks like a crow from up above or a scythe, but it looks more like a crow or toucan. That'd probably make more sense for the tropical feel. I'm not gonna go over this building in particular just because it's I'm gonna admit it, it's the worst building on this map. So let's go over to the next little landmark. This is what is this landmark called? I think it's Plum Pasture. That's what the landmark is called. Originally, it was going to be a full POI called Burrito Bodega, and it was going to be like a nice actually, I think it was going to be like a kind of a mini city, and then I went no, and I didn't do that. Is that water? That is water. I couldn't tell. We have a nice little home here. Yeah, it's just a nice little home. Very simple. Yeah, I don't really know how to go, right? You have a nice little, like, land bridge right there onto a small aisle. And up here, we have a pond with the first annual thing. Every chapter from now on, or from chapter 7 on, is a year long. And every single time, I will bring back the Plethoralist Cottage, the Tortean Clock Tower, and the Tortean House, all of which are going to return every single chapter, at least once. And if the biome they're in, or the location they're in, gets removed, it will just be moved elsewhere, or moved elsewhere. I guess that's the only other way to say it. Anyway, over here, we have the very, suburbia style POI. This is Sweetheart Swings. Now, if you live if you look at like a standard like suburban neighborhood, you will see something that looks very close to this. We also have See and Go Gas there. It is it's a very standard look for a lot of suburban towns. And, you know, I won't go over the houses, but it's cool. Sweetheart Swings. I love Sweetheart Swings. We have a little, like, prairie right here with no trees, very small. It's kind of nice because there's a lot of clutter in this biome with all the trees. But now over here we have plum pitches with a plum tree right there. And also I like to imagine that all of these are plum trees or pink oleander trees, which they are actually, not just cherry trees. And it's very simple. You kind of have these like umbrellas. It's a tennis court area. That's really it. It's a fun POI, unique. Don't know if I'm ever gonna do something like it again though. Anyway, over here we have a landmark. I think it's called Lucky Lighthouse, but I don't know. Or Lockdown Lighthouse. I don't remember. A little pond here. And here's the lighthouse itself. We'll see more of that same lighthouse elsewhere. And you have a little gravel peninsula right here. This, I do believe, is the... Oh, no, it's not going to be the farthest out. The map goes on this side of the island. And, yeah, that's pretty much it. Until we reach over there. Over here is the lovely, the one and the only, Moonlit Manor. Moonlit Manor, let's just get into the swing of things, is a very nice POI. It's technically on the other side of Eldon Estate. And, you know, we hop into the interior. There seems to be a similar design on the wall. Now, you know, very simple. And as we go around, you'll begin to realize, wow, this is like a very nice building with a lot of pools. Now, where are the bedrooms? And that's the neat part. there are no bedrooms. And the reason there's no bedrooms is because this is a house for a gala party. This is a house for parties that, you know, has to have to do with, like, galas and such. And if you know what galas are, they're places where rich people go. And, you know, maybe that has to do with something that has a very high importance with that logo. Because, trust me, I have a very good story planned for those wonderful, wonderful folk within that golden thing. There's the second island with a shape. It's a spiral. I think it is a landmark just called Nautilus Isle. Oh, I forgot to say, the name of this island is called the Isle of Zero. So yeah. Anyway, next biome time. This is the beautiful Gilded Ridge. Gilded Ridge is exactly how it sounds exactly how it looks. There are a bunch of golden trees, and it's kind of a more... I want to imagine it's kind of more like northern West Coast feeling with like the pine trees and stuff, kind of reaching up maybe even to like Washington and stuff like that, but it's very simple. And that leads us to our first POI, costly condos. Each of these buildings are exactly the same, so I'll only go over one. Yeah, that's what it looks like. Believe it or not, that's all we're gonna get for this tour of this one building. You have a small little pool there, and you have a nice little area down here. And you also have another hangout spot down here, which looks out into the wonderful jungle biome, which we will get to last. The Gilded Ridge also has one other POI, and this POI is the wondrous Skyrise Suite. And it should actually be called Skyrise Suites, but yeah. Very simple. Each room is exactly the same. I'm not gonna go over any more other than the backyard, or I guess the back half of the place. You have some dandelions, poppies, sunflowers, and rose bushes, and every room's the same. Going up, it is another kind of like a weaker POI, but honestly, I can get over it just because it's a really nice looking POI. And then you have this nice little prairie down here. Very simple. This is kind of where you get into more of a like forested area, and you kind of get into a little bay section. And you have a Paradigm Lighthouse. Now the Paradigms are also kind of important to the story, but they're also kind of not. They're like never even like fully developed usually, but it's cool. And now we have the Trapezoid Island, with only golden trees. I don't know why. I just wanted to do only golden trees because it's cool. But yeah, I should also clarify that this tree in particular has a real life counterpart. It's just a hazel tree, or a hazelnut tree. I don't know about the golden pines. I know that there are golden pines in like Japan and like, Canada and stuff, but I don't really know. Anyway, Tortain Clock Tower time. Not really much to go off of. It's just the clock tower from Tortain. And then you have a little like ruined building over here, with a little campsite. Maybe run by the team of 5, who knows. A lot of stuff is, but the team of 5 are really respectful leaders. And next we have Cheesy Chimes Cheese and Milk Factory. Now, if you have ever known of the word Tillamook, that is a cheese corporation. And this building in particular, this POI, is inspired off of the Tillamook Cheese Factory. So yeah, very fun. And it's also run by the Paradigms. And there's also nothing in these rooms. I don't know why. I think I probably did have a plan for them, and then I just kind of forgot, so I was like, I'm going to just leave them empty. So yeah, that's pretty much that POI. Next, we have Windmill Waves. Now, I won't go over a lot of Windmill Waves, but just know, small little bay area over here, and a Spanish-style POI. That's pretty much all you need to know. And it's next to a cliff that goes into the water. And you have a little rock scurry up there. And also, it is a location for power. So, yeah, it's the main POI for, like, power lines and stuff. And next we have the next little Lego Minecraft inspired thing here. This is very fun. And you have a little like gravelly pond down there. And you have a road going up there. Now I am not going to go over Los Lujo just yet, but just know Los Lujo is the single greatest POI I have ever conceived into my story. You have a solar panel farm over here, and now we have tropical terraces. Tropical terraces. I forgot to mention the name of this biome. This is the terrace biome. So yeah. And there's kind of a creek that runs through it. And honestly, I did take direct inspiration off of Breath of the Wild, The Legend of Zelda, Breath of the Wild, because the large rocks kind of remind me of Kakariko Village, and the terrace farms and the actual buildings around it do take inspiration from Hatsuno Village from the game. So yeah, and then, yeah, it's very simple. And I don't really know if there's much else to go off of, other than this house in particular. Now, when I mentioned Breath of the Wild, you might be able to tell what this house in particular looks, or kind of reminds you of. It's very simple, very nice, very cute. And also, you kind of have, like, this nice little, like, area over here with the creek and stuff. And yeah, that's pretty much it. You have another little, like, washing clothes area. And up here, you have a little lighthouse. I guess not really little, because it's pretty large. And then you have another, like, rock tower with another hangout spot. And then way down below, you have a broken wagon. Visual storytelling. Maybe the wagon was, like, being dragged by, like, I don't know, a car, and it would just kind of, like, fell off and went, and without further ado, let's go into my favorite biome on this map, the wetland biome. The wetland biome is gorgeous, and that will be known. We have Salty Strand, Grove Ball's Grubbin Pub. Grove Ball is the owner of a Grubbin Pub area, and he just so happened to make his main little restaurant out in the wetland next to Los Lujo, so you could hop on the docks, ride on over, and go, I want some Italian food. And Grove Ball would go, okay, here's some Italian food. And yeah, you have a little, like, team of 5 hangout area out on this little, like, area, some cattails dotted around, and it's just a nice tent. And we are about to hit the final shape island. There's a little boat dock area over here. Also, there's, like, algae going out from every, like, side of the wetland biome. So yeah, and here it is, the heart-shaped island. Now, this is the statue of Origin, and as we know, Origin is not a good man. He is an awful human being. Actually, he's not. Yeah, I'm gonna just stick with human being, even though the main character, like, anyone in the story isn't really human, other than, like, Giovanni and stuff like that. But yeah, it's kind of very simple. He's kind of bad, you know. And then you have, like, a star-shaped lake, and I didn't really, like, think of it, but I guess it is star-shaped. So yeah, ooh, that's some pretty god rays. And then you have a nice little, like, pond back here. And that leads us over to the next POI in the wetland. And the wetland has a diverse range of trees. Very diverse. You got some cherry blossoms, you got some cypresses, you got some palms, and you got some maples, and you got some red cypresses and yellow cypresses and not blue cypresses. But now you have Quartermaster Court. This place is run by the team of 5, and particularly is run by Giovanni, the war general, as I said before. Yeah, so very simple, very, very simple. He's got a nice house here. Yeah. And you kind of have this, like, inlet to the wetlands, like, area. And as we go around, you may realize that there's a path that goes across the entire wetland. And this is known as the Wetland Road. And also you have a small little, like, tent area over here. I don't know why I added this, but it was pretty, so I went, oh, I'm going to add this. So yeah, it's very simple. It's known as the Wetland Road, and that leads us to Cast Off Crates. One of the most, like, blended in POIs. It's a POI that really can just blend into the scenery because it's made up of sea cans from like the ocean. And also, there's some visual storytelling here. Make of what you will here. Maybe like the thing went and then the people went, I'm gonna make some town out of crates. And then you have a karst, like this is a karst mountain style area. If you don't know what karst mountains are, I don't blame you. They're just mountains that look like pillars. You see them in China, well, pretty much all of Asia, quite a lot. You kind of have this nice like pond here. Maybe there was like something here where the river was gonna like go through and it maybe would have reached over here, but that's just up to your own interpretation of how Nexus wanted to create this island. And then you have this like untouched part of the wetland, this untouched isle here, and it's very simple. And right here is one of my favorite areas on the entire map. Just two islands in the middle of this lake, just chilling, just chilling. Yeah. And then you have the big Karst Mountain area. Now, ooh, spoilers for the next POI right there. Or not next POI. Actually, yeah, once we're done with the wetland, that's where we're going. And then we can finally circle back around to the jungle and then Lost Luho and be done with the tour. Here we have, originally, Twilight Town, but now Karst Cliffs. Karst Cliffs is exactly how it sounds. It's a town surrounded by cliffs of karst mountains. And it's a very, like, gross, like, actual realistic shanty town. And, like, I just imagine, like, bugs getting in your, like, shoes when you're headed to, like, work at the golf course next to this place or something. It's probably, like, disgusting. But, yeah. You also will see some white pine trees around here, and then some Mongolias. Very simple wetland trees. And now we have a returning POI, the barge. But everything that starts with the is now la, because Spanish, I guess. La barge is a barge on the water that sells stuff with some Zen garden in the middle. I don't really know how else to describe such a POI. It's on a pond. And also, inside of this, like, wetland area, you'll see a whole bunch of little ponds. There's a pond there. There's a pond over here. And if I'm not mistaken, there's another pond elsewhere. But we're gonna... I mean, another two ponds. But, oh yeah, there's a pond right there. Here we have a little... The Tortean house returns. Also, you may have not realized, but this is just the swamp right here. Like, I blended it in quite well. If you're, like, over here, it's like, oh, that's just another piece of land. But nope, that's water. I was inspired off of the Everglades from Florida. So yeah, you have a small pond up here. And as we go along, I think there is one more main pond that is disconnected from the ocean right over here. I think on this little peninsula. Yeah, there it is. There's the pond. And then you have a river going in to this small area right here. And it's just a very nice, like, I guess, like, relaxing area. I wanted to make a lot of relaxing areas. And then you have a lake right there. And then we have Singing Sound, our next POI. Very simple. Very simple. It's an opera house POI. And of course, it's run by the Gala group I was talking about. And we'll figure out the name eventually, as I've been saying continuously. But, you know, it's very important. They are very important to the story, okay? Keep them in mind as we go through this season, okay? Because there are going to be weekly updates finally. Yes, next week is the Christmas update, and trust me, I have something that isn't actually an update to this map in particular planned. But right here we got some Sprite Springs golfing. The POI is called Sprite Springs, and it's also run by that Gala group. Do not feed, pet, or approach the alligators. They bite. Unsmiley face. Not smiling. And it's just a small golf course. All these golf-like things are actually usable, or, like, they could be usable if, like, you covered it with, like, ice and then covered that ice with carpet and stuff. It's very, very simple. And I'm not really going to go over it all that much because I went over it in the detailed video. I'm trying to get views on that, even though it's very large. I have timestamps in the comments that you can go to just in case you want to like get to a specific point, the wetlands or anything like that. And now we shall head over to the next POI. Now, this is the tallest mountain on the map, and it is actually still just a little over half the size of the tallest mountain in Chapter 7. So, yeah, you can already tell that there's a difference in the mountains. But you got the pine biome here, but then we go into a part of the snowy pine biome, entering El Eduardo Mining Co. And as we go up, you're going to slowly begin to kind of put two and two together. The rich Gala people and a mining facility. I wonder what the heck that could mean. Also, I took inspiration from Peru for their mining facilities because those are very, very bad places. But yeah, you have the sign up area right here at the top of the mountain. And you may have seen it, the logo. Yes, the golden diamond. The golden diamond. And you have a chill out area right here. Also, there is powdered snow on this mountain, so do not get caught in it. Yeah, you have a small amount of houses here. You have some gold, like, mine areas. You have another hot spring, and right here, the insignia is literally arched or etched into the rock wall. And also, highest point on the map that is reachable by actual terrain. 195, so just below 200 blocks. Anyway, yeah, there's really not a lot else going on with this POI, so I suppose that leads us to our next location run by the little rich Gala folk. This is called Gritty Gold Mine. Yes, they are literally making this world starve of riches. They are taking all the money they can get. Gritty Gold Mine. Yes, Gritty Gold Mine. It actually is a full gold mine. You have the main cavern here, but then you have a bunch of these, like, things over here and stuff, and it's like, oh no. And then you have this thing right here. That was like the entrance you could have seen a little second ago. And you can actually, like, go out onto these docks here and be like, oh, hey, looks like this is the edge of the mountain. And then over here is an actual, like, real docking port area. So, yeah, honestly, I wouldn't even complain being hired here. Actually, no, I would, because it's inspired off of, like, Peru gold mines, and, like, no slander against, like, like that stuff, but full slander, because holy crap, I'm gonna be honest, it would be awful to work in, like, gold mines like that. Like, genuinely gut-wrenching to work in a gold mine in Peru, because it is, like, legitimately just pretty much slavery. Like, that's what they... Not gonna go into it, but I did take inspiration from that, which is kind of making maybe the Gala people, the Golden Diamond people, a little less favorable. We have Pine Pinnacle. Now, this is a POI that will only be shown in the tour, but this POI is mainly made for the specific time, sunset, and also for midnight, and you will definitely see that. Of course, this is kind of inspired off of, like, the mountains near, like, I guess Washington, maybe, because that's kind of as much as, like, as far as the, like, inspiration for, like, areas go. But we have a small little, like, area over here with a few rocks. And you also have gaslings down, or dried gas down here, which are like little seals. And then I didn't go over these islands out in the ocean that surround the wetland. The pine biome. And they're just small, like, wetlands, islands, just out there. There's some karst mountains. There's no POIs, but they just kind of surround the area, and it's just, like, nice, like, quality of life, because I could have just left this entire chunk of the island empty and just had a quarter of the island be like, no, there's nothing over here. But no, I wanted to add something, and I decided to go with wetland stuff. And we have this small little mountain over here, and you have the next biome, and this biome doesn't have any POIs. It's the gravel beaches. I didn't put any POIs because originally I was going to make a POI called Tiny Tributaries, and it was going to be a fishing hamlet. And now that I say that, it really sounds like it could be cool, but I didn't. Anyway, Lost Sanctuary. Originally, it was going to be called Safe Sanctuary. Why? I really could have just like kept those names, but that's pretty much what Sanctuary means. But anyway, this is another team of 5 area, and you may see Johnson. Now, all these houses are very similar, so I'm not going to go over any of them, other than Johnson's. But there are specific Nordic runes inside of each one. So that would have been Johnson's. This one would be Giovanni's. This one would be Scarlet's. And this one would be Singularity. And then the final one is Nexus. And then there's this one for Origin. Now, it's a secret. It's a secret, Nexus and Scarlet. It's a nice little sanctuary, and it's super cool because those Nordic symbols do have meanings. And if you want to look up, if you want to do that, by all means. And I will not tell you what any of them mean. And right here is the tallest mountain in the mountain biome. This is also the mountain biome. Very small mountain biome. Anyway, here we have Runoff Rapids. This is our first jungle biome POI, and I'm actually going to go on foot for the jungle biome because holy guacamole, it's beautiful. And before we go over that, before we go off Runoff Rapids, we're going to have like a little chill out area up here. Very small, very cute area. Yeah, it's 2 temples and ruins. It's kind of Aztec and Inca inspired. So yeah, very simple. Bridge going over the rapids, and those rapids lead to the central lake on the island. And over here we have a little lake, and once again you may have seen a little Aztec looking thing there. You have a small pond in the middle of this area, and you also have a hole in the central plateau, or like the center of the plateau, and it's just nice, very unique. And now we go over Farmer's Floodplain. This is another really disappointing POI. Now, I will admit some of these POIs are kind of meh, but they add a sense of life, so it's nice. That's what the farmstead looks like. And then over here we have the barn. Now, I don't know why there is a barn here. Honestly, it would be beneficial to have a lack of a barn here, but it's okay. And then you gotta have like a windswept tree and like the cranberries from the, farmer's floodplain, because floodplains have cranberries usually. And then you have another little team of 5 hangout spot, and this one is super beautiful. My favorite part of this entire area. And also, you may have noticed this land bridge leads over to where we started. Very nice. So yeah. Anyway, let's hop on over to the next POI. The next POI is Treetop Tango. Now, I'm using Tango at actually no, Buccaneer Buffet. We're going to go over that one first. Buccaneer Buffet is a very nice small POI, and it's just a buffet inspired off of like pirate ship stuff. Very unique. You have the little cooking area back here, and then you actually have the main buffet. Super beautiful. One of my favorite POIs on the map. And if there is an update to this island next week, it's probably gonna be right here. And then you have a small little like pirate ship with a few seatings, and it's like in this nice crevice that connects to that bridge of land, right there. And now we go over Treetop Tango. Now I'm using Tango as in not the actual word of, or the meaning of the word tango. So just just ignore that. But it's a very nice place because it's a drive-in theater, and it's hosting a few different movies. You have Monolithic Espionage and Ragnarok. Ragnarok's kind of a fun name. Yeah, don't delve into that too much. Of course, some like Aztec and Inca inspiration, of course, with like the mountains and stuff. And now we come over to I think final returning POI to this chapter. This was a Chapter 6 POI, Shanty Shoals. What a gorgeous POI. Let me go into nighttime. It looks best at night. I won't go over really any of the buildings because none of them are actually, like, cool. But it's just a nice little, like, shoal area in this, like, bay area. And it's just a nice, like, divider from, like, the wetlands over to the jungle. Because, like, realistically, wetlands and jungles are very similar and, of course, are usually in close proximity. Hence why these two biomes are close. But yeah, very, very simple. Anyway, let's go over this POI. This is the central POI, and it's the POI that... Is that not central? Oh, boy, that's not centered. And it's a very small POI. It's called La Collateral, and it is just the Monolith. The Monolith is just on the Chapter 8 map now. So, yeah, and also, you kind of just have a nice, like, lake here. Kind of a swampy lake, too. But I kind of imagine it as, like, flooded because of the rapids. But yeah, that's kind of, like, it for it. But we will have our next POI, or not POI, but landmark. And this is one I imagine, as the golden, the golden diamond insignia people have ransacked this small quarry. Very simple. There's also a prairie right there. And over here, we have Cucumber Code. This is our final returning POI. This was a Chapter 7 POI, but it was removed in Season 7 and now is returned in Chapter 8. And then we have treetop. Oh, wait. Treehouse. Tended treehouses. Tended treehouse. Yeah. It's a treehouse POI, and it's a pretty big tree. It's the largest tree on the map. But yeah, that, my friends, is the final POI of the jungle. And now we can go over Lost Luau. Now, what I'm gonna do for Lost Luau is very simple. I'm not going to go over the POI. The POI is very large, and I might make a video going over it alone, just more detailed, more in-depth of the POI, just because it is such a large POI and such a detailed POI. It is the largest POI on this map, and, of course, as such, it should be the most detailed. It is gorgeous. There's also a Starview span right there, but that's not an actual POI, that's just the name of the landmark. And it just is there. And, of course, it's San Francisco inspired because this specific POI, let's head to nighttime because it looks best at night. This is pretty much the only view we're going to get of it before I do a full, like, detailed tour of it. This POI is inspired off of 3 cities, or not 3, I think 4. Mexico City, Miami, San Diego, Los Angeles, and San Francisco. So 5 cities, all in one. And each of them, you can see each of them in the actual POI. You have San Francisco in the dock area. You have San Diego in the suburbs area. You have Los Angeles kind of in the main, like, city area. And then you have Miami with the big, like, neon towers. And then over here would have been just Mexico City, just some simple, like, buildings here and there. And here's our final thing. United Folk Hotel. The United Folk are the name of the Golden Insignia Group. Beautiful. And without further ado, if you like this video, please like and subscribe, and prepare for more Chapter 8. Why do I fly like that? On the way. Goodbye.